Howdy folks, it's Stellaris. You might have actually seen my Let's Play videos for Stellaris, newly released game by Paradox Development Studios. This particular video I'd like to really focus on the creation of a new empire or new race. So I've gone to the new game option, and in there you can click on and create new. And if you then click on select, it takes us to the interface through which we can start creating our new race. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the appearance. So we're going to choose what kind of race is it. Is it an avian, an anthropode, mollusk, or a fungi, or even a reptilian? So I guess I'm going to go with avian for this particular instance. And then you can choose the actual appearance of your race. So I've chosen here the appearance of this particular character to be looking like this. I can click on next. It then takes me to the screen through which a name can be generated. Now, either you can actually just roll the dice, have the system generate that for you. Ultimately you find one that you're happy with, or alternatively you can of course type it in yourself. Click on next. It takes us to the actual names of the creatures, so the names of your captains and research, etc. So you can choose either something matching your choice from earlier, avian, anthropode, fungi, etc. Or alternatively again, choose one that doesn't actually match your race. Okay. So this is, I'm just going to go with the one that I've chosen here, which is avian 2. Click on next. At that point we really need to start looking at the traits of our race. What are they good at and what are they not good at? Now we're allowed to spend a total of 2 points. We're allowed to pick a maximum of 4 items. Now if you scroll through the list here, there's a few items where you got a -1 in there, or even a -2. I thought there was somewhere as well. So it's only one -1s. But what you can do with those, you can actually increase, of course, the number of available points. So what we could do in here, if we are repugnant, other races will be less happy in actual dealing with us. Gives us an extra point to spend. Charismatic is the exact opposite of that particular one. Solitary, again, happiness is affected by that. What I'm going to do with this particular race, I'm going to choose to be weak. I want to basically get 1 point from there. What else can we do? We're not a slow learner. Slow breeder is not really something you want to basically have if you want to basically be able to expand your empire relatively quickly. Not adaptive is probably not what we're looking for. Now, if we're looking for positive traits, think for example of items like intelligence. They will give you additional output in terms of, well, in this instance, the research factors here. Or you can basically say I want to be a natural engineer, and you really focus in on a single one. So this does +10 across the board, and these individually do +15 as such. Now there is one here that's called extremely adaptive, and that basically means that I'm basically easily able to settle on other worlds because they become more habitable. I can become regularly adaptive, which is only half that value, but it only costs 2 points as opposed to the other one costing 5. So really what we want to do in here, we basically want to choose a couple of factors that really will benefit us. Now let's go for the intelligent option there. I think I accidentally chose another one. I want to be natural engineer. I want to have something else that will be beneficial to us. Think for example of quick learner. Quick learner is basically a trait that will basically have your leaders, your researchers, so grow quicker in their experience. What can we actually do in here to basically make other people happy? So let me choose charismatic. This will make it easier for you to deal with the other races that you encounter. Click on next again, the ruler can be chosen. So at that point we can choose the color variant. So there's different color variants that we can choose. I kind of like the first one already. And you can even choose the clothing that you want to have on your character. And depending on what kind of character you've chosen, you might even be able to change the hairstyle or the phenotype. Again, we can choose a name for our ruler. We can choose is male, is it female. So I'm just going to make it a male ruler in this instance. And I'm going to click on next again. At that point we can choose what kind of world we come from. Is it a continental world, ocean world, etc. So again, there are key benefits to this. In terms of being able to have the ability to settle those kind of worlds a lot easier than other world types. So we're used to arid world, we basically will be able to settle those worlds easier, whereas it'll be harder for us to settle an ocean world. Now, as far as I could see, continental seems to be very, very common across the board. I'm just going to roll the dice here for the actual homeworld name. I'm just going to choose, I think this one sounds interesting. And of course, we could even randomize the solar system or the solar system in which you start. Now, if you choose Sol system, you basically, of course, start in a world, in a solar system that's similar to our own solar system. I'm just going to leave it set to random for the moment. And I've basically stuck with the continental. Then you can choose what your city should look like. So in the picture behind us there, what should the city itself look like? Okay. Now, since we're an avian, I could, of course, go with the default avian one from there, but of course I could choose to go with one of the alternatives just to give a bit of extra flavor to the choice. Then we need to choose our government ethics. Now you see that there's an inner ring of ethics. These will basically be your well, let's call them minor choices in here. You have 3 ethnic points to spend, so you can basically choose 1 from the outer ring and 1 from the inner ring, or you can basically choose 3 from the inner ring. Again, it's down to your own personal preference now how you want to basically have this played out. So do I want to be the xenophobe? I don't think so. Do I want to be militaristic? Maybe. I haven't actually played militaristic before, but as you can straight away see, it influences the appearance of the map behind you, etc, etc. And again, we can combine that with other bits and pieces here. So I'm going to choose individualistic. And what else I'm going to choose? Let's choose collect. No, actually, so what we see here, as soon as I try to choose the collectivist versus the individualist, that's an exact opposite. So you can't have both selected. It's either the one or the other. But you can, of course, gravitate towards one direction if you wanted to, in terms of your choices. We don't want to be xenophobes, we want to be xenophiles. And based upon those choices, you'll also see that government types are either available or not available. So we can either choose military republic, which holds an election every 5 years. We can have a military junta, which gives elections every 40 to 50 years. Indirect democracy, etc, etc. So really we want to basically choose something that'll give us some key benefits. So this choice here will basically give us a reduced army upkeep, ship upkeep, and of course war happiness is increased. In this instance the ship cost and the ship upgrade cost are reduced, but of course elections at a different interval. Also we can choose from one of the bottom ones, basically given our current choices. So if you got a particular government type you're really basically looking to get, play around with the actual choice in terms of the ethics, and you basically see the choices changing accordingly. Okay, I'm going to go with this one here, the military republic. Click on next. At that point we can name our empire. Again, we can just roll the dice for that. And basically our racial name is of course always included in there. I think I'm going to go with the United Federal States. Click on next. We can then start creating our flag. So what's actually really the center icon that we want to have? Is that one of these round figures here? Is that something, one of the zoological ones? Since we're slightly militaristic in our actual government type, I think I'm actually just going to go with that. It looks a little bit like a sword sticking through a disc, or a ball with a disc. We can choose the color of the background. And of course we can start incorporating elements into there as well. And we can even choose to have a secondary color. So you can mix those colors if you wanted to, until you find exactly what you're really looking for in terms of appearance. Once you're happy with that, we click on next again. We then can choose our starting weapons, and the starting weapons is really just your initial starting point for your race. Do you want to start off with projectile weapons, missile weapons, or energy weapons? Each of those got their own benefits. For example, missile weapons themselves are pretty long range, but of course they're vulnerable to interception. Projectile is a shorter range, mass drivers, but they will have a different type of damage they do, but they will actually go straight through any shields, or at least a lot easier. Energy weapons is more medium to close range weapons that we can actually apply. I think for this particular example, I'll actually go for the mass drivers or the projectile weapons. Click on next. At that point we can choose what kind of travel method we want to be able to utilize. Do we want to use wormhole? Do you want to use hyperspace, or do you want to use your warp travel? I think hyperspace is an interesting one to try with this time, so we'll use the hyperspace lanes to travel. And then ultimately we can choose our appearance of our ships. Since I'm actually a bird-like creature, an avian, I'll just go with the avian design here for the moment. Again, click on next. It then gives me my summary overview of this particular race. And if I'm quite happy with that, I can simply click on save. If you wanted to change any of these components, you can always click straight on the section that you wanted to change in there. And of course, you can go through the next again. But ultimately, that overview that we see here, you can always click on any of the elements on there, but if you're happy with it, just click on save. It'll save it as a new race. Okay, if I then click on the back button here, you should see that new race now listed in the listing of available empire choices. And again, I can choose what to do with this. Do I want to always include it? Do I want to always exclude it? So basically have it not become available. So if I'm not playing it, do I still want to be able to encounter that particular race is really what we're saying here. I'll just put those through. I'll force it through. And once we're happy, then we can choose our actual race to play. Hopefully that's given you a nice introduction to how to actually create a new type of empire. We look forward to actually seeing you on the next Let's Play video of Stellaris. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Please feel free to subscribe if you are interested in getting notifications of more videos. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one.